I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pool alongside my good buddy Senex. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing very well, Paul, and I am really excited to be casting this game with you. As you might notice, this is not one of the fewer resources per base Furby games that we have usually been doing. Instead, it is a ordinary game between LiquidJinro, everybody should know him, and ClashImagine.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? We're actually not casting a Furby game?
I know. What is this madness? Madness.
Something's
This
obviously gone
is
wrong with the boys.
StarCraft.
Yeah, something's obviously gone wrong here. So just so you guys know, they are playing on Entombed Valley, and I actually don't have any idea where this match was played. I can only imagine that it was on the ladder, but it is in the Razor Replay Pack of the Week, number 27. So thanks Team Liquid for posting this. I've been casting a lot of Jinro games lately because he's just a total boss Terran, the Gorilla Terran, as you may know him.
Yeah,
And
Jinro is an extremely good player. I'm really looking forward to him beginning to get kind of the results that I think that he is capable of and
yeah,
is always just a little bit away from achieving. And I do think
yeah.
that in the next couple of months he will be able to achieve what I really think has been his potential all along, but he's just not quite been able to show everybody yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's obviously had some really good results before, and then he's kind of taken a lull. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but remember when he was in GSL? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he just did so good back then, and then like I don't know, he's still doing really well, but I think he's kind of back on his rise up to I don't know, greater glory, I guess you might say. But I'm really excited to see how he does. I love some of it. His build orders are great, and he is such a strong, like, solid macro player. Like, he really knows what he's doing. He's obviously brought a lot of his Brood War skills with him, and yeah, I think he's just kind of like working out his style so that so that he can do it consistently and then just completely own everybody.
Yeah, and as we look at this map, we actually see both players going very much from macro games. There is a Nexus first from the Protoss, very macro aggressive game,
Oh
and now
wow.
throwing down two gateways to actually be able to defend that as he gets it set up.
Yeah.
And what is Jinro's response? It's to not take any gas whatsoever. He's saving up a whole bunch of money, and I can only imagine it's going to be a one racks gasless expand.
Oh, absolutely. And you see this a lot recently. Just about every TvP, to be honest, that I've seen in about the past week or two, it's been the gasless expansion, or like maybe like one gas into an expo. You get like a tech lab, do a Reaper expand. But a lot of Terran players are just figuring out that they can defend. With a decent amount of bunkers, some good SEV repair micro, and to go ahead and expand. So, yeah, I'm glad to see the game kind of taking this little bit of a shift.
Yeah, Jinro definitely looks to be playing for the late game because he's already attempting to take
Oh
down these
man.
destructible rocks leading to his third base. And there it is. He now has two command centers in production. So going for an incredible amount of early economy just to catch up with his opponent's fast expand and maybe even punish his opponent if his opponent does not notice that Jinro is expanding that quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe I was watching a game today. I cannot remember for the life of me. I think it was Parting and Puma or something like that. It was a TvP, and it was just like this game. And in fact, the Protoss player ended up taking his third. So it's very possible that Clash here, or Imagine rather, will take his third. But he might not do that. We'll just have to see what he does. He only has two gateways down right now, so it's very possible that he would expand. Now,
Yeah, and I just have to remark on how little gas there is in this game so far.
yeah.
General has none. He's relying entirely on bunkers and marines to defend himself with, because stalkers, if they are microed well, will only ever take shield damage while actually successfully scoring kills on marines. And even for the Protoss player, Protoss is usually known as a very gas-heavy race. He's only just now taking his second gas, which means that he's not relying on sentries or any kind of robotics or anything like that, though he does drop the robotics right now.
Yeah.
For his primary forms of defense, he's using almost nothing but stalkers and zealots that actually look to be moving out on the map right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, for Terran, I mean, obviously he's got his two gases now, but for the first little bit there, he was relying only on mineral units, and I mean, bunkers of Marines, they don't take any gas, so it really works out well if you choose not to get your gases. You can get a good amount of defenses and, of course, a good amount of Marines out. Now, it does look like Clash is going to be coming up here to do some poking, realizes that he can't get up that ramp, and just doesn't want to sacrifice the HP on his units.
Yeah, that does prompt Jinro to put down another bunker though, because he doesn't know how much pressure is coming
Yeah.
behind this. He doesn't know if this could very easily be a robotics with say
Oh,
5 gateways on the back of it off of one base. Oop,
Liquid.
he does move out. Did he get
Yeah,
that?
he Genro managed to get out there and catch his opponent off guard. A lot of the times you won't see players paying attention. They'll just leave their units at the bottom of the ramp and not really watch them. And you can sometimes move some Marines out there, get a like semi-surround off, and kill at least one stalker. So really good job there by Genro.
Yeah, and he is leaving that one SCV in place. It almost looks to me like he really wants to drop another bunker, but he's not doing it just yet. There's the Observer Stim and the first Marauder on the way, and a missile turret, which I do think is a very smart decision, because if you take a look at Jinro's vision for just a moment, he has absolutely no idea what
Yeah.
kind of tech his opponent's moving into. So Dark Templars, while they're not the most common opening, would be an auto loss for him if he didn't have at least some kind of detection and was hitting those mules as effectively as he has been. He's been dropping them perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jinro definitely playing very smart, and considering the fact that he's got 3 command centers right now, he's playing incredibly safe for that. So of course there goes down that observer, and Jinro just moving out here a little bit to see if anything's going on, take out any pylons that might be out there. But of course there are none from Imagine.
Yeah, I really like this SCV in the corner too. He's just keeping an eye on Imagine's third expansion because he knows that he is currently up in terms of expansions. Even though he hasn't moved it out yet, he can drop mules. He can use it to saturate his bases more quickly, and we can actually see that on the workers tab. He's almost even with the Protoss with 3 mules working for him. So General's economy is definitely going to be better than Imagine's until Imagine's able to get up a third Nexus.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does look like we do have 2 forges coming down as well as a Twilight Council. So Imagine's definitely going to sit on 2 bases for a while now. Jinro currently has 5 Raxes, 2 of them are building, and he's also got a reactor starport, so he's definitely going to be going for a timing here. I would imagine once Combat Shield and, of course, Concussive Shell is finished. And he might do drops, or he might just go straight in. I feel like drops on this map, they can be effective. You just gotta kind of get your Protoss opponent out of position for it to work, because if they're at the ramp, it's going to be relatively easy for them to defend. But he could, of course, go around to where the third base is and then lift off again into the main quite easily.
Yeah, this map does feature 2 relatively easy to defend chokes as the ramps up into the natural and third base. However, the distance between the third base and the main can be something of a problem if you have a very micro-intensive play that involves dropping in the third, lifting up, going to the main when your opponent is not paying attention. But it looks like Jinro is just moving out straight onto the map, going to get in his opponent's face, but he is being followed by the observer. So Imagine has complete knowledge of what his opponent is up to.
Yeah, and it does look like Jinro's one attack is just now finishing, so I would imagine that is, of course, obviously the timing that he is shooting for right now. Now, he needs to get a little bit of a vision of what's going on in Protoss, although Protoss moving out here, initiating this aggression, and Jinro forced to lift off a lot of units because of those force fields, and actually has to run back. Wow.
That was some incredibly good force field play. It trapped exactly the right amount of the army to section it off and kill it, but Jinro's micro was just so good that he was able to lift up those units and save most of them in what would have otherwise have been a completely one-sided slaughter. So very, very good micro and reaction time on Jinro's part.
Yeah, absolutely there. And of course, that's just kind of like what I was talking about before, where the Protoss had his 2 stalkers at the bottom of the ramp, kind of wasn't paying attention to him. Jinro almost did the same thing, and just got caught off a little bit off guard. Now, it does look like we do have 2 drops coming around, as well as this main attack force going towards the third. Jinro going to do a lot of pressure here to take out quite a few zealots before they can actually do any damage to his army. Meanwhile, that drop is going to be getting in there and actually lifts off, so that attack's going to just be held off for a while.
He does need to watch out, though. This timing might not be working out the best for him, because that Colossus did pop out just in time. There was a big warp-in on top of those units, and he hasn't quite been able to split his opponent up as much as he would like. There was that one cannon beginning to target down that drop ship as the army has been pulled back. But no, actually, this drop play is starting to work really well for him. His Protoss opponent has not been able to split up his army effectively to deal with these threats in both places at once. Now he's scoring critical worker kills on the gas, taking all of them off gas. We're going to have to see how long it takes for the Protoss player to realize he's not mining gas from his natural anymore, and the Nexus is killed!
Completely gone. Jinro got that third base so easily there, and Protoss just really need to split up his units. He would have been just fine. And I guess he just chose not to do that there, sacrificing his third. He did manage to get all of his probes out there, so at least he did get that.
Yes, indeedy. And there's no Thermal Lance yet, I don't believe. Oh, no, there is Thermal Lance done. Okay, so that's going to be a major point in favor of the Protoss player, but just look at the supply.
Yeah.
It's 152, 158 now versus just 113. That means that you can just see how much the Protoss player is being picked apart. There's a 4th command center being started by Jinro, and look at his base. You just almost can't even see the ground for the number of production structures. But the Protoss player is moving out on the map. He knows that he needs to do some damage to get himself back in this
Yeah,
game.
absolutely. The Protoss is definitely not out of the game. He does have 2 Colossi out, and there are currently only 2 Vikings for Jin. However, he does have a reactored starport as well as another starport producing Vikings, so he should have enough to handle this Colossi force here.
Yeah, the one danger that he might be in is actually overmaking
Yeah.
Vikings, because he needs to keep in mind, this is only 2 Colossus, so he doesn't need that many, but the attack is going in. Beautiful force field, threatening to section off the army if they get
man.
through. And now the second one goes down, just forcing him away. That whole base is completely compromised. Zealots running in, scoring as many kills as they want. This is an all-you-can-kill buffet. However, he does not manage to cancel the production of that 4th command center, so if that command center is able to be finished and lifted off, General will not lose that investment, and now that he has pushed his opponent away, he's able to get right back to mining, and actually the supplies really haven't changed at all throughout that whole attack. It's even gone up for Jin.
Yeah, Protoss just, I mean, he sacrificed a lot of Zealots to get some SCV kills, but honestly, he's not really in a position to sacrifice any units. It does look like...
Yeah, there is a
Yep.
drop in the top right as the Protoss player is attempting to retake that natural. This is such a painful timing for him because he's trying to figure out if he can afford to cancel that or not. It looks like he does not need to cancel it, that one Colossus being there, and the big group of Zealots does
Now
force
it
it
does
away.
look like Jinro is probably going to be going for the second, or the natural of his Protoss player, and then possibly just distracting him while he goes for that third, or he might actually just push in here to the third base. We'll see what he decides to do, and it does look like he's going to go straight. Oh, nope, never mind, he's turning back, so scratch that.
Yeah, that medevac full of units did end up getting taken out, so it looks like the drop play is not going to be continuing. However, Jinro's opponent, Imagine, has managed to catch up quite a bit in supply. It's no longer a 50 supply difference, only about a 20 supply difference. Jinro is desperately trying to no longer be supply blocked because his economy is considerably better than his opponent's, but that doesn't matter if you can't make
Yeah,
any
absolutely.
units.
We do have kind of an engagement here, and actually a pretty good position for Jinro, except for the fact that he's getting sandwiches with those Colossi. Now these Vikings are going to be able to clean up all the Colossi. Jinro forced to micro-back, stutter step his Marauders and Marines here to deal with these Zealots and these Archons, and man, Protoss might be able to clean up this attack.
Yeah, that was incredibly well done by the Protoss. Those Archons being in front with no ghosts on the field were able to do so much damage. We see 6 and 9 kills between them, with the Immortal as well getting in and dealing that incredible 65 damage per shot to armored units. And Imagine's just not letting up. He's going to chase Jinro all the way back to his base. Jinro salvaged a couple of those bunkers, which means that he doesn't have that much there to
and the
defend
thing
it.
is, I'm just so curious. There we go. There's the ghost. Finally, I was just gonna say I'm so curious as to why Jinro doesn't have any ghosts, but it does look like the Protoss is gonna be coming in here, taking out the bunker. It's gonna be really hard for Jinro to deal with. A lot of SCVs coming in here to try to join the fray here, just to distract some attacks, and I think Jinro will be able to hold this.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did have to pull the SCVs off the line. However, having their just extra warm bodies, extra little bit of hit points, was able to force the Protoss opponent back, and we do see that those Vikings are still in the air, doing nothing for him. However, he's continuing to pursue, trying to chase down just as many of those sentries and other high gas units as he can, able to clean up a couple of more Zealots in the bargain.
Yeah, absolutely. So finally, we do have Ghost joining the unit composition, and like I was saying before, I'm so surprised he was on 3 bases, didn't have any Ghosts. Typically, when you're playing as Terran against Protoss, 2 bases means Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and then 3 means Ghost. And Jinro, I don't know, I just feel like Ghost would have made all the difference for him instead of getting so many Vikings. But
Yeah, they definitely would have. Removing all of those shields, and particularly being able to get rid of the extremely high shields on the very, very dangerous Archons, would have given him a big advantage. However, his supply is still ahead, though still not by as much. So Imagine is clawing his way back into this game, but after that one big Nexus snipe, but is not quite there yet in terms of actually having
now
the
Jinro in a really dangerous position here. His army really cannot deal with the splash damage. I don't think he's going to survive this. He's going to be forced to lift off and run away with his medevacs, just sacrificing a lot of units there in hopes that he would take out that third, but really I feel like forcing a cancel would have been a little bit more effective. However, we do have an attack in the main with just a handful of units here, and they are of course going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, the warp in really helping out Imagine right there, and we do see Imagine has managed to take that supply lead for the first time since that one big Nexus snipe. Jinro has dropped off his units and is trying to cancel this fourth, but it's not looking like he's going to be able to. Oh no, he does actually get the cancel there. He's just a little bit too quick. Does manage to pick up and leave, and very smartly splits off those two medevacs that are full of units to go and continue harassing, while sending back the empty ones to go and rejoin with his main army.
Absolutely. So Jinro and Clash here are in interesting reverse roles. Sorry, Jinro down to 111 supply, whereas Clash is at 147. So Jinro, is actually kind of clawing his way to stay in the game right now. We do have one armor finish, so I believe that is 3-3. No, it's actually 2-3. Oh, it will be 3-3. Yeah, there we go. So 3-3 for Jinro, whereas Protoss is 3-3. So I don't know, man. It's looking kind of rough here.
Yeah, there was one drop, but it didn't end up doing very much damage, pretty much killing a cannon, canceling another, but losing a whole medevac in the exchange. And this fourth base of Jinro is being denied by just two zealots who were warped in by this very, very cleverly placed pylon. I like that pylon a lot because it's not in one of the obvious places to check because it's on something of a walk path, but you don't generally walk through there when you're in these positions, and there's actually a ninja base going up by our Protoss player in the bottom right who has taken a massive supply lead, up to 170 supply.
Yeah, this Protoss obviously is just rolling. He's got his what's the word I'm looking for? He's got never mind. His momentum, there we go. He's got his momentum built up, and it's really just working in his advantage right now. And I mean, his unit composition is fantastic. He has 6 Archons right now, along with 4 High Templars, 3 Colossi. Just the splash damage coming out of this army, this AoE is just ridiculous. Now,
yeah, Jinro is going to need perfect unit composition in order to deal with that. Just enough Vikings to kill the Colossus without having so many in the air that it's a ton of wasted supply. Just enough Ghosts to deal the EMP damage that he's going to need without having so many that after they've used up their energy, they become mostly worthless against anything that's not a light unit.
So, I mean, these EMPs can be really effective here, and as a matter of fact, they can completely nullify the Archons if Jinro does it correctly. Here comes the major battle. I feel like this will be the major battle of this game. If Jinro can hold off this attack, he might be able to take this victory. However, if he can't, I think it'll just be really hard for him to hold on.
Yeah, they are just posturing back and forth in the middle. Clash trying to just get a little bit of a better army, though I actually think he probably should have gone there because he is pretty close to max and Jinro is not. And this harassment continuing in the bottom right. Jinro also having no idea about the sneaky expansion taken by Clash, and Clash also taking just a normal expansion up in the top right. So he's going to be on 6 bases while Jinro is only on 4, and that's going to be a big deficit for our Team Liquid hero to overcome.
It looks like Jinro is wanting to have some attack here. He obviously sending in Marine to see exactly what his Protoss opponent does have. Of course, that factory is up there, so he knows exactly where the units are. He knows the positioning. Ghost in the front to get some EMPs there. Oh, nothing happening quite yet. Now here we go. Gonna get some snipes possibly. Actually, there we go. EMP on those High Templars. There's one snipe. Will he manage to take out both of those HTs? Doesn't. Okay, will just not just yet.
Yeah, they are continuing to back away with half their energy and no shields. However, Jinro has managed to claim that critical center ground because he doesn't have observers who can really keep tabs on his enemy's army, so he needs to rely on either scans, which he is essentially spending money in order to have.
Running right into the middle of the map, completely misrallied that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's really painful to be losing a unit that expensive. Though he does have a very large bank.
Yeah, of course he can replenish quite easily. Now Jinro does look like he's coming up here to attack into this 4th base, and he is going to commit to this attack. I do think the Ghosts are in the front here, so they can get some EMPs there. Great EMPs, taking out all of those Archons. And all Jinro has to do is avoid storms, stutter set micro, and he will be able to take this battle. Does look like our Protoss player has absolutely nothing, down to 122 supply. Jinro with those incredible EMPs right there. Wow.
Yeah, Jinro has completely crushed through his opponent right there. His upgrades really managing to keep pace with the Protoss opponent, even though his opponent had the Chrono Boost advantage in them. And it does look like that fourth base is going to easily go down. He's continuing to engage on that ramp, scanning to make sure that there's really nothing else up there. There's one High Templar who he does have to watch out for, because some good storms from that guy could ruin his day. However, it does seem as though Jinro has completely just broken his opponent's front, and even with the warping mechanic, I don't think that Imagine's going to be able to build the critical mass he needs to protect himself from
this. It does look like Jinro will be able to take out this base, and there will be one last engagement from Clash, but he just cannot get a good position. There is a really good storm taking out a ton of units right there, actually. However, Jinro is still holding on, and I don't know, the Protoss player is losing an awful lot of warp gates right now.
Yeah, and taking out that robotics facility was really good for Jinro. It guarantees that there will be no Colossus production, though I'm not even sure the game will reach that point. He's just camping the production, making sure that really nothing can be warped in, that he won't see it already coming. There's a gigantic worker transfer actually moving across the map, trying to get down to that ninja bottom right, but I think that that's just Imagine being kind of cheeky. If he ends up losing all of his production and really not having done that much damage. Oh, though, no, I'm worried that we missed a run by, because there's his third is totally empty.
Oh my
Jinro's
gosh,
third.
it is. Wow, we definitely did miss that. Yeah, obviously there's a Zealot down there, but Jinro managing to clean that up there.
So he is now to just 19 workers. However,
yeah,
I really don't think that his opponent's going to be able to come back into this. He just doesn't have the production, even though he has the worker count and even a couple of mining bases. I just really don't see it happening, though. He is building a mothership. If you look at the top right, the Protoss player is trying to build a mothership, and I think that with a mothership and 5 High Templars, you can pretty much kill anything with the properly done storm
of course
toilet.
There are like a ton of Vikings left still, so they will be able to snipe that mothership pretty quickly. The thing is, though, for Jinro, he has all of his production facilities still, and you just gotta think, our Protoss player is gonna have to rebuild every single one of those and then build units. All Jinro has to worry about is rebuild his army. So he definitely is in the better position right now.
Yeah, Jinro has definitely done something very clever by dropping off a whole bunch of SCVs and an orbital command in that center left position and not actually breaking down the rocks. Because if he doesn't break down those rocks, his opponent has absolutely no way of getting at that base. He doesn't have a warp prism, doesn't have a robotics facility, does have a Stargate, but it's unpowered. So there's nothing he can do to try to challenge that base.
Or not, but Jinro went over to where that mothership spawned and just like 3-shot it, no problem.
Oh, whoops, I totally missed it.
Just had a heyday right there.
Yeah, he did land those Vikings and is now ripping up that base along with the support of 2 Ghosts. I do think that the Viking Ghost composition is going to become one of the mainstays. It's not going to become one of the mainstays of Terran versus Protoss, but it is plenty for dealing with that one totally undefended base. And now Jinro does seem to have some idea that, there's something sneaky going down at this bottom right, and he's moving his army down to deal with it.
To take out these High Templars and all of their energy if he just gets really good EMPs off, or just snipes them. Either way it works, Jinro.
Yeah, and if he just cloaks and moves in, there's absolutely no detection on the field. And the old maxim of if you're behind, build Dark Templars is totally true. There are Dark Templars out on the field. Where are they actually? I don't know where that one actually is. So he's dead now, so he was probably somewhere in this battle that's going on right now. But now it is 31 supply against just 104. So I really don't see our Protoss player coming back from this, but it was very hard fought and excellent game.
Great job by Jinro there, managing to just do so great with his macro, and really that decisive battle over where the fourth of the Protoss player was, just I think that decided it with those incredible EMPs. Yeah,
that was definitely the spot that got him back into the game from that serious deficit that he had unfortunately ended up in.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this awesome game. Senex, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to watch this game of ordinary, just vanilla StarCraft 2 instead of the fewer minerals per base that we have usually been doing. However, it's obvious that the pros
Yeah.
are still very much invested in this version of StarCraft at the moment, and that is where many of the
Yeah,
most
most
awesome
definitely.
games
So
will
you
be
guys
found.
feel free to check out Senex at youtube.com/wiseoldsenex, and of course you can always find me at youtube.com/poolsc. We thank you guys very much for tuning in. Senex, do you have anything else to say?
No, just that you should definitely check out Pull's channel. The guy does a lot of awesome stuff, and he's just, great person to cast with in general.
All
So
right,
thank
see
you
you
for having
guys.
me on, and peace.